Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm always happy to connect with you guys. If this is your first time on my channel, you're highly welcome. So like, subscribe, and leave your comment below. Today I have a wonderful and amazing personality with me, and he goes by the name.
My name is Idolatry. Super excited to be here, guys.
Oh, so thanks for coming though, bro. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you very much.
So today we're checking out another video, and the title is "A Catholic Sister Asks Yusuf Estes Why Accepted Islam." Why he accepted Islam, yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Sister, thank you for waiting. Would you please state your name and occupation, then state your question?
I'm Sakina D'Souza, and I'm a Catholic. I believe Brother Yusuf was a Catholic before. I would like to ask him the simple question. He was brought up like a Catholic, but what made him change? Doesn't he believe that the Messiah is true, or did he ever feel that the Catholic religion, has not brought up any Messiah and the Bible is false? I would like to just know what that means, because he said he was a Catholic before and now he has become a Muslim. What made you change? What was that storyline before? Doesn't he believe that there is a Messiah, or the Messiah had come, saved us, died on the cross?
Thank you very much for a good question. I hate to disappoint you, but I wasn't a Catholic. But I was with a Catholic priest the night that he accepted Islam. And I asked him these questions you asked me. Because after all, I was still a Christian, a preacher in Christianity, and I wanted to know why my best friend, a Catholic priest, had converted. That's a pretty weird thing. A Catholic priest is not like a regular preacher in the Protestant religion. A Catholic priest has given up everything. He's given up his life to be a Catholic priest. When he enters into this realm, he's basically given away everything. He can't have a wife, he can't have children, obviously no grandchildren. He has no home, he just lives in a rectory or wherever they give him a place to stay. And he's sent wherever they tell him to go, do whatever he's told to do, and that's it. And he cannot disobey the Pope, otherwise they can kick him out of the religion, and if they do, he's excommunicated and he goes to hell forever. So how would a person like this want to become one of those Muslim terrorists? That's what I wanted to know. He explained in a very few beautiful words something that I came to learn for myself. He said that he was sincerely in the Catholic religion because he believed in God, that he had studied, his degree was in theology, and a part of the teaching that they as priests have is to study Islam. Every priest is forced to study Islam. Now you may not know that, but you can ask your priest and he'll confirm it. And when you study Islam, even when Islam is taught to you by somebody who hates Islam, as long as they don't corrupt it too far, you can still see the truth in Islam. A classical example happened to me just recently when I was in Saudi Arabia. A friend of mine, very old copy of one of the first Qurans ever translated to English by George Sale. George Sale hated Islam, he hated the Muslims, but when he translated the Quran to English, he was true to the text of the words. Although maybe not getting all the meaning, he certainly was true to the text of the words. I was shocked when I read it. Have you seen it? You know what I'm talking about? Amazing. And listen to this. George Bernard Shaw, for instance, is one of many, a long list of people who read this and realized the truth of Islam. When people see the truth of Islam, it can change them if they want to be guided. If they want the truth, it can change them. You might think, I'm a Catholic, I'll never be anything but a Catholic. But I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest. This is not for you to, start a debate, but just be honest. Was Jesus a Catholic? And it's not open to debate, so there's no point in opening that up, because you know and I know he wasn't. The Catholic Church was in business about 300 years before Jesus was born. It's on their website. Don't go like this. It's on their website. That's where I took it from. The Catholic Church was really started in Rome by Alexander the Great. Do you know what the word Catholic means? It means universal. It was the universal church for the Roman Empire. If you didn't join it, you could not be a Roman citizen. And it was opposed to the teachings of Judaism and opposed to the teachings of the early Christians for more than 200 and some years. And they were diametrically opposed to each other to the extent that it was the Romans killing the early Christians. Now, if you understand that and you go to their website and read, they didn't even take over Christianity until the year 325 AD. And when they did, they changed a lot of things, again, referring to their own website. But if you want to check it in Britannica or Americana or grow your encyclopedias, go ahead and read about the Catholic Church. When, in August of 325 AD, at the Nicaea Council, they took over, first thing they said was, let's change the date of the birth of Jesus to be the same date as that of Mithras, which was the god, one of the gods worshipped there, and also the sun god's birthday was the same day, December the 25th, believing it to be the shortest day of the year. And Constantine was a sun worshiper of Sol Invictus. Go to the website, read it for yourself. There are a lot of points, but not the least of which, even today, if you go in any Catholic church, and I have, you'll see so many portraits and statues and idols and images throughout the whole place that for the one who's never experienced that, for a Muslim who knows about these images, he'll be like, whoa, a'udhu billah. Whoa, what's this? The first time I walked in a Catholic church, I was about 10 years old. I was shocked. I was shocked at the idols and statues everywhere, because in the Protestant religion, we were brought up to believe that the second commandment was just as important as the first commandment. The first commandment in the Bible, in Exodus, is the same as the first commandment in the book of Deuteronomy. It says, I'm the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt in the house of bondage. You know no other God beside me. Beside me there's no other gods. Thou shalt not have any other gods beside me. How many in this room agree with that commandment? Raise your hand. You notice the Muslims are raising their hand because it means Ashhadu la ilaha illallah. That's the first commandment for us as well. The second commandment you have clearly says, thou shalt not make any idol, any graven image of anything that creeps upon the earth, swims in the sea beneath, or flies in the air above. And I was sitting in a church one time, sitting there in the morning service, watching, the preacher talk, and, they go on and on and on, and sometimes you lose your train of thought. I was looking. Whoa! On the front of the podium, there was a fish. A fish. For the symbol, make you fishers of men. It had a fish. I said, whoa. Then I looked up above his head at the big stained glass window, and it had a dove, and he had the olive branch in his mouth. The dove is flying, the bird, I said, whoa. And then I look over here, and there's a cross with a man hanging on it. And I said, wow, they didn't miss a single one. They got them all. Something walking on the earth, something swimming in the sea beneath, something flying in the air above. So look at these two things. Clearly, the first two of the 10 commandments, bang, bang, boom. Because if you said God is more than one, where did you get it from? When Jesus is talking to his own companions and they ask him, what's the greatest commandment? Mark 12:29. Clear. The greatest commandment is to know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God. And you have to love him with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. And this is no different from what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was saying, the same thing to his people. Same thing I mentioned in the lecture. This is certainly for us the same. So what you see is Muslims practicing the commandments, and you see people claiming the commandments but practicing something else. And I have seen more converts from the Catholic Church than any other of the many sects of Christianity, and especially from the nuns, priests, and even an archbishop. And all of them are better than me. Those guys and women that I see do this, they still sacrifice their whole life to get the true message of Islam, not only to you, but to Muslims as well, because we all need to know about it. But thanks for a great question.
You know, one thing I agree with him is where he said the second commandment, like you shouldn't worship any image or likeness greater than the likeness of God. You see even in the wilderness when, according to the Bible, where Moses was on the mountain speaking to God or communicating with God, people created a calf, so like they would take them back to Egypt and the rest of that, you know. And even till now, I'm a Pentecostal in a way. I won't say a Pentecostal, but most the denomination I belong to as Pentecostal, I would believe in that you shouldn't create any, because it's categorically stated no idol, no likeness, no image should be worshipped in terms of God, you know. Well, I always see, that's one thing I have with Catholics. Not like I have issues with them, but most times I've attended Catholic, I think 3 times in my entire life. Yeah, twice actually. Yeah, one was when I was in school. I had a girlfriend then, so she invited me to her church, and that was in 2011 there about. I went with her, and I found everything strange, you know. The fact that came linked to an idol. I was just standing there. You know, I felt it was an idol because Mother Mary, yes, they knelt down and the whole ceremony and the rest of that. And I went inside the church, and I could see people I know, I was like, what the hell? You know, like these people, collecting Holy Communion. I know what people did during the week, you know. When you're talking about one of the biggest event planners, when you talk about one of the link-ups with lecturers and the rest of that, you're talking about me. I was 16 at then, 2011, or 17 at then. So when you talk about the happenings, the latest clubs at then, like you approach me to get you linked up with it. So I know most of them. And they're taking Holy Communion and they were kneeling. I was like, dude, you know, this was back then in Nigeria, Owerri. You know, I was like, oh, okay, this is really, really strange. And then there's a communion bowing down and the rest of that. So I got there, I was kneeling, they would kneel down, I would sit down. They would stand like, bro, what's all this? It's stressful, it's stressing me. And the kid was like, kneel down and stuff. I was like, okay. And we would go out and the whole thing, I was like, nah, this isn't for me. The second time was when we had a football competition. It happened to be one of my departments actually won that competition, and we went for like Thanksgiving and the rest of that inside the school premises, and the chaplaincy they hosted us and the rest of that. That was the 2 times I've actually attended Catholic church. But I looked at it and I know deep within me that place, second commandments of God, thou shalt worship no other God except me, right? The likeness or representation of God, you know. So even when I went laying down, I did not move, and they're like, everyone looking at me as strange, you know, not because of my denomination, but if the Bible categorically stated no likeness or image of me, then why should you bow? And in fact, they see it in the Bible, they read in the Bible. So
they have their own this other book they use, like the Bible is kind of different. I've never read it, but I've heard it because I attended the Catholic school, so told me. And when you go to the church, what they will be doing is like singing hymns, kneel down,
they have a pamphlet.
That pamphlet.
Yeah, they don't. Every Sunday they bring a pastoral pamphlet. They hardly read from the scriptures to
so that pamphlet,
the people. They always create a pamphlet. So
that's it.
I wish I told my girlfriend, hey babe, I'm not attending again.
And the other thing too, like, you confess your sin to you, man. What's up?
Yeah.
You confess sin to God, and that's what should be between you and God. Because the Bible said, like, there will come a time in the day of judgment. God will forgive people's sin, but the sins that will not be forgiven are those people that bring out their sins openly. In a sense, like, when I've committed sin, I'll be acting here. I did this to this girl. I stole this money. So me looking at a human, why should I go and confess my sins to you, man? You talk to God directly.
I have always stated that, like, even, they said Jesus died, right? The veil of the curtain was torn. That means there's no need of an intermediary. That what is hidden behind that curtain, where the priests go to sacrifice to the people, on behalf of the people, whereby they tie a rope with a bell to the priest when he enters. So in case he makes a mistake and God strikes him dead, they were able to pull him out from the place, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, according to
The Catholics.
yeah, no, not even like the old in the Bible and the scriptures back then. You know. Now, since after Jesus died, the veil was torn into two, and you could see this inner sanctuary. That means right now, representing that the fact that you don't need to go through a priest or anything to communicate to God. So why do I still need to go through that to communicate to God?
Okay, because like a Christian friend told me like Jesus sin, people mistake it like Jesus' death. People mistake it like some people will say like, okay, Jesus died for my sins. That means like whenever I commit sins wrong. He said for him, based on his religion, his own religion, like Christendom.
Yeah, denomination.
Like, yeah, denomination. He said like what that meant was like Jesus died for this. When Jesus died on the cross means like you have gotten grace to like ask for forgiveness.
Yes, exactly. So crazily, yeah, or unfortunately for this, right? Some people they listen just to their people they call their papas. They got pastors. They claim they are papas. My father in the Lord and the rest of that. But the funny enough, like because of the present modern generation, we try to modernize the Bible. We try to rub it to make it sweet and but I pity those people. And I told one of my friends like, it's just crazy why you believe this thing. Yeah, you say grace. I'm telling you that grace, once saved, forever saved. Are you telling me that once you commit a crime, like let's use the normal word here. Even God says that will be done on earth the way it is in heaven, right? So let's say you've committed a sin or you've committed a crime and you went to court and you served a sentence, right? And then after like probably 3 years, 4 years, you got bail. Yeah, you telling me because you commit that kind of sin or crime again, and they arrested you, you're telling me because you've served the former one, you're not going to serve again. No, you know, there's somebody say once saved, forever saved. I try to tell the person, look, dude, if you commit a sin now because you feel Jesus has paid the price for you, the fact that Jesus died on the cross is that time of grace, this period of time, you can ask for forgiveness and you will get it. That is what is grace. I'm trying to tell you that if you're in lecture hall or if you're in class, you know, and you give an assignment, and that period you did not submit when you're supposed to submit, and the lecturer like, oh, I'm giving you guys who have not submitted, I'm giving you grace to submit so time. If you do not submit it at that time, that the grace period is existing, not because they said they've given you grace, that means
it's forever.
It's forever.
And
no,
you continue committing.
exactly.
If that's the case, that means like the people that kills, the people that steal, no matter what they do, they will still enter heaven.
Exactly. So that not because they've given you grace, you say what I want is grace. If you die in your sin, no. Or when so he was saying, funny you ever seen that once you've given your life to Christ, once you've confessed your sins for the first time, then you go back to the sin. It's no longer sin; it's a mistake. I like, bro, I'll be looking at your footage in hell in HD, full HD. And he was looking at me like I'm cursing him. I'm like, no, I'm not cursing you, but look at it. You committed sin the first time. You're a sinner, you've been forgiven, and you committed sin again. You didn't see it right. Even if you offend me as a human being, you come and like, oh, I'm sorry for what I did. It's not intentional and the rest of that. I'll forgive you. You're telling me that it's a mistake. So even if it's a mistake, you will not come and say forgiveness. That because you are once saved, forever saved. Like if you mess up, even in the Bible, it's written, even Apostle Paul, after the Church of Corinthians or the Church of Thessalonians, they've given their life to Christ. They committed some sins, some sleeping with their wives and the rest of that. And Apostle Paul wrote to them, you know, yes, to like look at these things you're doing. If it was like for one say forever, these are the early church people that have very close contact with God. Even Apostle Paul didn't have a direct contact with God. He had a revelation or something. Like he made them. But that period. Look at the period Apostle Paul existed. Look at the period we are existing now, over 2,000 or 1,000. Okay, let's say 1,000 something years ago. Even it wasn't up to 200 years. Apostle Paul met. Jesus died before Apostle Paul was converted, right? So look at the time. He was closer to the period Jesus died. He would have had a closer relationship with the religion and how it operates. And right now, and you're telling me, if he felt that once saved, forever saved, there was no need for him to write to the church. You know? And right now, you're telling me that. I like, look, bro, I'm not cursing you or anything, but I'll be watching your clips in hell in HD. It's like, are you meaning you're not a sinner? I said, me. The difference between me and you is that if I commit a sin right now, I know I have sinned and I'll ask for forgiveness. But you're feeling it's a mistake, there's no need for you to ask for forgiveness. That's the difference between me and you.
Yeah, I understand. So nice point though. Really appreciate it. And Yusuf Estes is a guy I've been watching, and he's really smart and all, and you understand the religion. You know, when you have the light of the religion, it makes sense when you're committed to like understanding God and all. We'll probably reach that level too.
Amen.
Okay, so thanks for coming there. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So guys, you can check out his channel, the Uche Gospel channel. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes your name is hard to like call.
My name is too long, you know. We got to Uche.
So I'll drop a link in the description below so you check him out. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and leave your comment below. Stay blessed.